Tim, welcome to Life in Nations. Today we're going to be making golden syrup. Golden syrup is an inverted sugar syrup similar to pancake syrup or maple syrup. It's very popular in the UK, but today we're going to be showing you how to make it for yourself because it's not available all over the world. So today we're going to be making golden syrup. We're going to be using just normal granulated sugar to see if it works because we've never tried it before. To make golden syrup today, we're going to use regular granulated sugar. Silver spoon sugar that you get in the UK is made from sugar beet, rather than sugar cane. I've no idea if it's going to make any difference, so we'll see what it turns out like. I've got 200 grams of granulated sugar and 60 millilitres of just water. So we're going to add this to the saucepan over here. Okay, keeping it at a reasonably low heat because I don't know what I'm doing. And we're just going to add a cup of sugar and our 60 ml of water, or a quarter of a cup. And I'm just going to keep stirring this till the sugar's all wet. Make sure there's no dry sugar left in there. And now we're just going to keep stirring until the sugar's all melted. This could take a little while. I'm just stirring the sugar. It's not remotely melted yet. I'm using a wooden spoon. I have no idea whether that's the right thing to use or not. From my brief research, there seems to be debate on whether you should use wooden or metal spoons to melt sugar, with different people saying that one or the other causes the sugar to crystallise more than the other. But there didn't seem to be any general consensus, so I'm just using a wooden spoon. And if in your research about golden syrup you've also watched Todd's kitchen video, you'll see he starts by using a wooden spoon and then without explanation switches to a metal spoon. So I don't know whether that's significant in any way, or whether I should copy that, I don't know. Some of the videos I watched even said you shouldn't stir it at all. You should just sort of shuffle the pan about a bit because stirring it at all causes it to crystallise. Oh, I'm going to turn it down a bit, it's starting to bubble. So I honestly don't know. All I'm going to do is I'm going to just keep stirring it and keeping an eye on the colour, and we're hoping for it to turn a sort of golden yellow colour, and then we'll quickly add some boiling water that should stop that and halt the caramelization. We're going to get 300 grams of boiling water ready to add to this when it starts to change colour. So my beautiful assistant in the background is pouring out 300 grams of boiling water. So the mixture's bubbling away. I'm a bit concerned, given some of the comments on other people's videos who have done this, that it might just solidify at some point soon and not work at all. But I'm sure this is going to go fine. We're a professional outfit here, and nothing ever goes wrong in these videos. It's not like we're trying this for the first time on camera or anything. So I've turned up the heat a little bit to try and encourage the caramelization. I'm also going to roll down my sleeves because I'm a bit scared that it's going to spit when I put the hot water in. There we go. So as you see, the sugar is starting to crystallise like it shouldn't. But we're just going to keep stirring, just keeping stirring. I'm sure it's all fine. So we're going to keep stirring. And what we're looking for is the colour to start changing at some point, soon, hopefully, before it's a solid, sticky mass. As I said, I believe when this starts to change, it's going to change quite quickly. And the last thing we want is burnt sugar in the bottom of the pan. You can see it's really solidifying into weird goop now. I'm not sure if this is the right thing that's supposed to happen. It's going very solid and it's sort of weird expanding lumps. and it's solidified entirely. So we're going to keep stirring it harder now as we've produced something that looks pretty much like sea salt. Right, and it's sticking really badly. It's completely dried out. This is fine, I'm sure, right? It has entirely crystallized without in any way
didn't
caramelizing.
So what you've got is a pot of cooked sugar.
Yes. I'm starting to suspect that a wooden spoon is a bad idea. So we're going to keep stirring this because it's not actually changed colour at all yet. Which to me, as I always say, if it's black you've gone too far, and it's not yet black, so we'll keep going. It is weird and dry though, very strange, right? We're just going to keep going. I'm sure it's fine. We're going to turn it up a little bit.
It's going a little bit brown in places.
It is, absolutely. I'm sure this is supposed to happen. So as you can see, it's starting to get a bit syrupy now. Mm-hmm. The colour's starting to change a bit. This is exactly as it was on all the videos I watched. Oh yeah, right. When you're melting sugar, that rattling sound is a good sign, you see. Oh, there's some stickiness. It's not entirely... I don't know what's happened here. Right, we're going to keep stirring. It's getting very hard to stir now, but as you can see, it is starting to turn into solution again now. So I'm sure that stage was entirely expected. As you can see, it's turning a nice orangey colour now. I'm just going to lift it off the heat for a second, give it a stir. My beautiful assistant behind us is pouring out some boiling water.
Again.
So that has now turned into a nice golden colour. And it's getting increasingly runny, which is good. Again, try to break up the big lumps. So, the lumps are disappearing. This is a good sign. So, if you're trying to make this recipe and you end up with a pan of dry lumps, don't worry, just continue onward. And you see now, we've got this lovely caramel colour. So now, I'm going to start adding the boiling water. We just add the water a little at a time. And a little more. And you have to be careful here because if you add, because you're reducing the temperature, even though it's boiling water, the sugar is actually at a much hotter temperature. So by adding the boiling water, you're reducing the temperature of the caramelized sugar, and it reacts by exploding. So just be very careful. I seem to be succeeding in not burning myself, which is a win, definite win. Keep adding this. You can add it a bit more rapidly now it's not exploding so much. There you go. Once we've added that, we will add our half a kilo, some amount of cups of sugar. So we'll add our half a kilo of sugar. I'm just going to pour this in here. Right. And we're going to turn it down to the lowest setting. I'm just going to give that a good stir. Try not to spill it at all. Shit. Stir it gently at this point because it's very liquid. and will very easily splash out onto the cooker. I'm just going to stir that gently. While we're doing that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and get a lemon. Lemon knife. So, got my quarter of a lemon. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to add the quarter lemon into the sugar. I don't like the fact that I've created giant lumps of sugar around the outside of it. What I'm doing now is I'm just gently scraping the edge of the pan just to remove that crusted on sugar. Because I suspect if I leave it there, it might burn itself on. Just gently scrape the pan, you see, like this. Right. And just keep stirring, and the fact that it's sticking to the bottom is not a problem. Just keep stirring. It'll all be fine. Right. As you see, this is a really easy recipe that anyone can do. No problem at all. The caramelized sugar appears to be stuck at the bottom, creating a two-layer affair. So you've got the new sugar on top and the caramelized sugar in large lumps at the bottom. As you see, I'm sure it tastes delicious, but it's not quite right. Right, so we're just going to stir this around until all the sugar is melted into it. What happened? What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to scrape the sugar off here. And we're going to go at it with a metal spoon for a minute. Just trying to peel off these sugary bits that are welded to the bottom here. From what I understand, the lemon has citric acid in it, which essentially causes the inversion process, hence inverted sugar syrup. What it does is it breaks down the sucrose in the sugar to form glucose and fructose, and that's the inversion process, hence the inverted syrup. And it's only partially because it doesn't break down all of the sucrose, I think. However, if you watch some videos, they'll tell you that you put the lemon in there to stop it crystallizing. But I don't know whether that's true or not. I hope it is true because I have some giant crystals in here that won't go away. So we're going to give this another stir now. As you can see, the lumps have all gone and it's bubbling away. I think it should be bubbling more slowly than that. So I'm going to move it to the small hole here in order to simmer it. So we'll just transfer this here. So this is the mixture simmering. We're now going to leave it for 45 minutes and we're going to come back and see what it's looking like. And hopefully it'll look like golden syrup. So the mixture's been simmering for about 45 minutes now. Looks good, it's all cleared up. So we're just going to sterilize a jar and we'll take this off the heat. There you go. And then we'll remove the lemon. Just remove that. So, we've finished heating this now. I've removed the lemon, and now I'm going to pour it into the mason jars. I'm going to use a sieve to strain out any stray bits of lemon or anything that might be floating around in the syrup, and we'll see what happens. Okay, so I'm going to put my sieve above it, and I'm going to carefully pour this through the sieve into the jar, just like so. There we go, that's one. Just move that out of the way. And a second one here. Okay, and again, just going to pour the remaining syrup into this jar. Like so. So as you can see, that recipe made about 1.5 jars of golden syrup. So it's been a couple of days now since we made the golden syrup. As you can see, it's set nicely. Very, very viscous and syrupy in the jar. I've put 2 samples here on the plate. On this side we've got original Tate & Lyle golden syrup that we can buy in the shops in the UK. And on this side you've got the homemade golden syrup I made the other day. As you can see, the colour is very similar, actually a lot more similar than I was expecting it to be. So we'll give it a try. So the original golden syrup is very sweet and delicious. I love golden syrup. Anyway, and the golden syrup we made the other day, while it's the same colour, it is a lot more viscous and stringy. You can see it's all strings coming up as I try and lift it up. And let's see what it tastes like. Now to me that reminds me of sort of toffee apples, that sort of caramelly sugar coating that you put on apples in Halloween. It's not lemony, but it does taste a lot more of caramel than the original one. I would say that's a success. It's not 100% the same as golden syrup, but it's a good approximation if you can't get hold of it. I've got a couple of ideas of things I could do slightly differently, so I might give this another go in the future to try and get a better approximation of the sweetness of golden syrup. It's a bit sweeter than the caramel taste we produced. But I hope you liked the video, and if you're feeling brave, give it a try, especially if you can't get hold of golden syrup where you are. And yes, like and subscribe to Life and Nations. Thank you.